like that we are the only sugaring kind of large franchise out there. There's other hot waxing studios, as everyone knows, and they've kind of already have their footprint out there. So being the only sugaring studio, and still to this day, I haven't seen a competitor on the level that Sugaring NYC is. So that's the biggest thing, because I've personally seen that when we open up our first and second store, that clients come from those other waxing studios to us and they like our services a lot better, because it is still new to a lot of people what sugar is. They think we're a candy store, and then they figure out we're not a candy store anymore. And so that was the biggest indicator for me, is especially when we opened up our first salon. Going through COVID, we opened up February 2020 and then shut down for 2 months. You know, it was the first business I owned. So kind of seeing what the outcome with that would be was kind of, it was nerve-wracking, but then business picked up, you know, in no time. And given the COVID vaccines and things like that, whatnot, revenue grew a lot. And so with that, that's kind of why we stuck with the business, and we're expanding with Sugaring NYC's, because we kind of seen that it's during the worst situation, I think, in all of our lifetimes, economy-wise, it progressed and it still did well. And it was a very much one-on-one interaction with clients during a time when that was kind of forbidden, I guess. That was the biggest thing, is why we kept expanding and want to keep expanding, is because we've seen that it's kind of robust. It survives whatever kind of times gets thrown at us now. So that's kind of why we keep going with it. And the brand itself, the team on the staff, I can't name everyone, but it's been good, because if we submit a ticket on through the portal, if I need to shoot a call to someone, people will respond within the day and get it done. And I think that's the biggest differentiator between huge franchises, that you may not know who you're talking to, but at least we know what's going on some type of level, compared to maybe the biggest franchise European wax center out there.
The reason why I decided to open a Sugaring NYC in New Jersey is because we didn't have anything like it. Being organic, being hyperallergenic, just 100% natural. It's nothing like that in this North Jersey area. I know more coming, which is great, but it was nothing like that here. So in the days of the pandemic and everybody trying to be healthier, eat healthier, why wouldn't they want healthier skin? So it just made sense. I probably 2 years prior to even delving into doing my research, I came across Sugaring NYC. I mean, I've worked in New York and I've seen them. I worked in New York for 20 years and I've seen them. And a light bulb came on and said, let me see what, it takes to try to look into this. So it took me 2 years to even decide and do my research. But after seeing it and understanding what it was a no-brainer.
First of all, I love the brand. I love what it represents. I think Dimitri is awesome. I love his passion and his drive every day. I know he works extremely hard, and he's got this, this passion and drive that not many people have. So does Andrea. Love her to death. She works extremely hard, and the rest of the team, Sam and everybody, they work extremely hard every day. And I know it's not easy managing multiple personalities, people from different backgrounds. It's difficult, but it is rewarding. I will say that what attracted me to the brand, or how I found Sugaring NYC, about 3 years ago, my wife got the service out in California. It wasn't a Sugaring NYC store, and she thought it would do well back home. And I started researching, connected with Lee. Originally, actually 6 months before I signed the franchise agreement, 6 months prior to that is when I had my first initial conversation with Lee. Wasn't a good time for me and my family to commit to something like this. So it was a blessing that 6 months later, he did reach out again. A week later, I signed the franchise agreement and we opened the store soon after.
One of the reasons, and I think it's the main reason why we specifically chose at the very beginning Sugaring NYC, is because I have very sensitive skin and waxing is a no-go for me. I look like a crab, literally just been boiled when I get my eyebrows waxed. So that never worked for me. And we wanted to invest into something we believed in. It was very important for us not to just invest, but actually believe in it and know that it works. Because in order to sell anything or be successful, you have to truly love it and believe in it. And that's what Sugaring NYC, when I tried sugaring, I didn't try it at Sugaring NYC, I went to competitor and I fell in love, not with the competitor, but with the sugaring. The service was phenomenal. The results were amazing. So to me, it was kind of, okay, now it makes sense because it worked for me. I know it will work for a lot of other people. And when I do the service and I say that it works, I actually know that it does. And I know that it is phenomenal. It is amazing. So I think part of it, that's why we got into the franchise. That's how we opened our first one in Northville. So I can get sugared for free. But that's why we opened the first one in Northville. And then Warren was, it's just, we had so much, I don't want to say fun, but it just felt so good to open and to see the clients and to kind of be in this industry, and it felt right. So the second location was, we weren't even in the market for 6 months when we signed our second location, and we just got very lucky with the second one. It was already completed build out, so all the stars aligned. We were ready for the second one. Northville was already on its feet a little bit more, and then the location was build out, so it was a no-brainer. And then the third one is, you know how you have euphoria from having 2 kids, and you're just like, the third one is gonna be good. So I won't say that it was an euphoria from having 2 locations, but we knew that we had a capacity and the strength and the desire. And as I said, I don't have any other job. This is my job. So it just makes sense to invest into something that works. And for us, Sugaring NYC works. So that's why we keep investing, because we get return on our investments. Most of the time, and majority of the time, have fun with the business. Of course, it comes with, you know, big responsibility, but majority of time it's fun and it's enjoyable, and that's why we reinvest. It does bring a lot to my plate, not having managers and having stores. I would say after we have a third one opened and running, I think there will be some changes how we run it, just because, again, as you said, it's getting a lot, and we want to make sure that we provide the same amount of attention to every single one of them in order for them to run great. But with 2, yes, it's the same amount of fun. Yes, absolutely. Eventually we'll have a corporate trainer. That's the only thing that is hard for me right now, is because I'm so involved in hiring and training. That's a little bit hard to manage, because I want to make sure that we provide good training. So having a good trainer at each location is good, but again, they will always have a FaceTime with me when they start. I also have a great support at home. My husband, he is amazing. He is my second half, and he handles other things behind the scenes that maybe are not as visible but are super helpful, such as payroll, you know, build outs, all on him. So having that team approach behind you is super helpful. And sometimes, yes, of course, it is stressful. Sometimes, yes, of course, I work 10-hour days because we're training and we're building out and things happen. It makes you stronger. It makes you want to go and you know, get things done and get better and get that month gross sales to the next level. So it is hard, but it's worth it at the end of the day.
So what attracted me to sugaring? So years ago, when I was first looking to start a franchise, I looked at multiple different franchises. I mean, fitness franchises. There was another wax company I looked at, but the other wax company, there was nothing different about it other than the logo, the name, that was it. And then I was looking for a while, and then finally I came across sugaring, did some research on it. I'm like, there is nothing around here in New York, in New Hampshire that is like this. There's plenty of places you can get a regular wax, but nothing for sugaring. And then, you know, I reached out. I ended up doing a discovery day with Andrea in New York City. Once I was there, saw everything in person, I'm like, I have to do this. And so, I mean, I loved every second of it. I mean, like anything, nothing's perfect. There's always bumps in the road. I mean, I look at it, especially, this is the first time for me opening or running a business, well, my own business. It's kind of, sometimes it's like I'm building the plane as I'm flying it, you know, trying new things out, but eventually you get there. You know, there's things that have been worked great for me and things have not, but it's gone so well that I decided to open another location, which is going to be in Salem, New Hampshire. And the reason I did that is I have a lot of people in Bedford, New Hampshire, that come to Bedford, New Hampshire, that drive up from Massachusetts. It's some people an hour. I have people that have come 2 hours. I just had someone from Rhode Island the other day come up to me in Bedford, and the location where I'm going to be at is right over the border of Massachusetts, and it's on the board of Massachusetts and New Hampshire. It's going to be an amazing layout. There's so much that they have at this. It's called the Tuscan Village right now. It is everything from beer gardens to multiple stores to restaurants, living area. It's basically a little city in itself, and I just feel it's far enough away from where I am now not to take too much of my Bedford business, but I can also attract another whole side of New Hampshire and Massachusetts to that location. You know, it took a while for me to consider, obviously because I opened in COVID and it was a slow start initially, but where I am now, I decided on this actually last year. We signed the contract. Unfortunately, my section, I'm in phase 2, it's just being built now. So that's why it's taken a little while before I open, but I'm still excited to continue this brand and have another option for people to come to.
I actually went to Miami, and my best friend had never had a Brazilian before, and we actually thought we were going to get a traditional wax, but we got sugared. And at the time I was like fasting and praying and asking God, like, what am I going to do with this money? If I don't invest it, I'm going to be broke. Because I actually had made a lot of money the year before and like spent every dime of it. So I was like, I can't do this again. I'm going to be broke. And so we went to the store, and it was so cute. And once we got in the room, she was in one room, I was in the other room, and they both was telling us, the Sugarees were telling us that it was a franchise. And so when we both came out of the room, we're like, oh my God, this is a franchise. And we got home, and it lasted so long, and we could not find anybody that sugared in our city. I was like, you know what? I'm opening up one.